Evening, YouTube. So tonight I'm just kind of like, how do I want to approach this topic? So I'm sure it's definitely gone viral. Definitely. We'll just start out with some politics. It's always the easiest thing for me to talk about than anything. But yesterday, a representative in Michigan. Her name is Lisa Brown. She's a Democrat that represents one of the legislative districts in that state. She was censored on the House floor today, which I thought was really interesting. And here's why. Now, normally in a legislative body, there's a type of decorum you're required to maintain. You know, things like, you don't swear on the House floor. You don't use vulgar language. You don't speak suggestively about topics that aren't related to the House business. You don't, yell or scream. And, all of these things are perfectly reasonable for any professional setting. I mean, although I've seen some rather hefty fireworks on House floors, it seems, the last 3 years or so, as things have gotten so heated. But one thing in particular that I'll talk about is Lisa Brown. She's a Democrat in Michigan in the state house, and she used the word vagina when addressing the House Speaker. Now, vagina in itself is not a dirty word. Let's just be clear about that. It can be used as a dirty word, but then again, so can pencil, if I tell you where to stick it. But the point is that in the context that Ms. Brown was using the word, she most certainly was not vulgar with it. The Michigan House had been debating policy on regulation of abortions, and so she outright told the Speaker, "I'm so happy you are interested in my vagina, but no means no." And it was in response to the law that the state house passed along party lines, and she found out the next day that she was being censored and would not be allowed to speak on the House floor at all. And the reason was because she broke professional decorum. Well, first of all, and Miss Brown, if you see this little blurb of mine, just note that you are an amazing person for standing up to him the way you did. It is not easy to get up in front of a body of legislators like that and give them 1-2, and you definitely gave your 1-2 to the Speaker. He should not have addressed you in that manner. He should not be acting the way he is. I saw some of the conduct that he engaged in on the House floor, and quite frankly, it's disturbing to me. Now, everyone likes to win an argument. I mean, I love to win an argument, as most of my friends will tell you. Anytime we get into policy debates or arguments or whatever, I play to win, and I love to win. But I can also admit when I'm wrong, such as Jeff Grosick. Yes, you were right about Super Troopers. It is an amazing movie, and I have admitted defeat on that issue. Gracefully, even. Now, when it comes to issues of policy, though, I do like to win, and I think anyone likes to win. They like to prove their point. They like to be declared the winner of that particular discussion. But when it comes to public debate, when we have politicians and legislatures looking to pass laws, to squelch your opposition is to demonstrate your weakness of character. And Mr. Stamos, and yes, that actually, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, his name is Jim Stamas, Jim Stamas, Majority Floor Leader for the Michigan Legislature in the House, Republican of Midland. You, sir, have no character, and here's why. Because you've squelched a member of the House for using a term correctly in a debate that you, I believe, feel just as equally passionate about as your opposition does. And for you to use your authority to squelch a member of the House demonstrates that you have low self-esteem and low self-worth, because you can't stand having a dignified debate on the floor of the House that you are pledged to act as Speaker for. regardless if you're a majority leader or not, you have an obligation as Speaker of that House to guarantee everyone equal and fair floor time to raise their issues. And you, sir, are sorely deficient in fairness. For you to squelch a member of the House simply because she used a word that made your ears crawl is unacceptable. She used the word correctly. She used the word legitimately, on topic, without innuendo or suggestive meaning. She was literally talking about a piece of female anatomy that you, sir, didn't seem to understand or just refused to understand. So, with that, my B rating on him is done. But anyway, so this brings up a larger issue, though, that I think should be discussed, and that's freedom of speech. Now, as Americans, we definitely love freedom of speech. It gives us the right to say what we want when we want, within the bounds of the law, obviously. We can't call someone a liar when they're not really a liar. That's defamation of character or whatever. You'd be sued for, crap like that. But the point is that you have the right to say what you want, when you want, and in what manner you want. And in the case of this, that right was trampled on by this House leader's squelching of Miss Brown. Now, what does that mean? Is Miss Brown going to maybe pursue legal action against the Speaker for his abuse of his power? Certainly wouldn't be a bad idea. Freedom of speech is something that we all enjoy, and regardless if you agree or disagree with someone, does not give you the right to silence them out of ignorance or desire to be right, or believe, out of the belief that you are right and just in your views and no one else's views matter. So, if you're ever told, if you're ever at a public event, say you're at a town hall meeting, or you're somewhere where public participation is encouraged and invited of some sort, town hall meetings or city council meetings or commissions where the public is invited to speak. Just remember that unless you're being disrespectful as a speaker to the members present, you have the right to say whatever you want within the bounds of the topic you're discussing. And don't take no for an answer either way. If you feel you've been silenced unfairly, remind said persons that you can speak up whenever you want. The role of a leader of anything is to create an environment where all sides can speak, all sides can express themselves without the fear of the majority trampling over the rights of the minority. And in this country, we do value the rights of the minority to speak out in protest of something, or to speak out in affirmation of something. And you, whomever you are watching as a person, you have that obligation to speak out, as those rights have been given to us by our founding fathers. And so I would encourage everybody to speak out and to get involved in whatever community you live in and about whatever issues you care about, and exercise that right to speak out as much as possible. So on that, I will let it be. I think you've listened to my ranting for enough tonight. Or not tonight, I should say, at this moment. I'm sure I'll have more in a bit. But stay tuned and leave feedback, leave comments, leave non-threatening threats. Have a good night.